I welcome the opportunity to speak to you from a somewhat empty, socially distanced setting in Dublin Castle. You are attending, albeit virtually, in your hundreds today. An illustration, if such were needed, that it is timely for us to reflect together on what more we can do to support our children and young people's creativity as we look forward with hope to brighter times. If ever there was a time for deep reflection on our future, this is it. We are slowly emerging from a global pandemic, and we are all asking important questions about the future. That is a theme that I'll come back to later in my contribution. Agus is sever, agus is luach for an star atá going in Éireann, sa cruthacht agus nua líocht, quid lornach de phobal an Iláin riamhanaul. Is le béal idis, scéalaocht agus seanachas, a tháinig ar star chuing tríd na glúnta. Tá clú agus cáil oring, mór hímpel an dain, dar scrígnóirí, dar geol tóirí, agus dar nalín tóirí. Tá Eileen, Arsa, Granta, I gloch héad chórtha I a héan siar na mílte blian. Séad córthaí dahar le aig a chóirt na spéire, na réaltaí, agus an réaltólaíocht. Cá visnú go raibh siad seo ina bhainte inspiráide do réalteolathe suntasacha na Héarden a le héadí Kenneth Edgeworth nó Agnes Mary Clark. Tá sé sna canábha oning an bhróchloch a bhúla agus splank a ghnóthú a spragan nu a smuinte, agus is chuige sin a támid an seohinmh le taú leis an mínach sin agus a spraga. But first, I want to talk about where I see Creative Ireland as the parent of the Creative Youth Plan in the wider policy landscape over the coming years. It seems to me that the real value of Creative Ireland is that it is at its heart a well-being initiative. The core proposition is that participation in cultural and creative activity promotes well-being at an individual, community, and national level. Every person has creative capacities that should be encouraged throughout their lives. Promoting creativity not only benefits our well-being, it also builds social capital and economic success. Creative youth is about delivering on this for children and young people so that you can become creative and engaged citizens. The Creative Youth Plan is about working towards a society which enables the innate creativity of all our young people to flourish. This, of course, is one part of the much wider vision of the Creative Ireland programme. However, in many ways, it is the most important part. It is about the future. Agus támid déanamh inistíochta den tauchaí nuair a dhéanamid inistíochta in our báistí agus in our níní óga. Ireland has made enormous strides economically and socially over the past half century. Policy choices on the whole have served us well, particularly in the area of education, an area very, very close to my heart. We were ready for the information age, and we have benefited tremendously from it. However, we are now moving into a very different age, an age when the primary determinant of success will be the ability to apply knowledge and expertise in previously unimagined ways. Robotics and artificial intelligence will displace substantial quantities of activity that is carried out manually today. Healthcare, the law, even teaching, all will change beyond recognition. Our future will depend on our ability to be creative and inventive, to solve problems, to work collaboratively and experimentally, and to think conceptually. And of course, this is what Creative Youth is about. Driving inspirational projects in school and out of school that capture the imagination of young people, that give them the confidence to be the creators of their own futures and the co-creators of their environment. The digital age is bringing many challenges. However, I think our creativity and innovation can transform this into a moment of opportunity. The opportunity for great scientific advances that will reduce human suffering. the opportunity to unburden ourselves of repetitive work, and indeed to live more fully. That alone is a compelling case for the Creative Youth Plan. Ireland's future must be at the centre of the new age of creativity, imagination, and innovation. However, there is another dimension to the Creative Youth Plan that I want to mention: the cultural aspect. The plan espouses the idea of a creative and cultural education for all of our young people. It challenges us to, I quote, encourage our children and young people to understand and celebrate not only our own diverse cultural values, but also the cultural values of others, and prepare them to engage as global citizens. The value of the Creative Youth Plan is that it draws multiple strands together: the digital age, multiple pathways to creativity, the power of the arts to stimulate independence and imagination, cultural engagement that leads to social cohesion, and offers a vision of a better future for and created by young people. The Creative Youth Plan is not just eminently good sense, but also a fine example of ethical policy making. Let me pause for a moment and talk about COVID-19, because there is, I believe, an important connection. Albert Einstein said, and I quote, "You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created," unquote. Today, we are dealing with the impact of a devastating pandemic. We can and will deal with the problem on its own level by suppressing the virus and widespread immunization. However, we must also take the opportunity to learn from the pandemic. The pandemic has raised profound questions to the surface of everyday conversation about how we really want to live as a society, about how we care for the vulnerable and marginalized in society, about how we educate and support our children and young people, about how we deal with the climate change and biodiversity crisis. The list goes on. We hear much talk about getting back to normal, but it's obvious to me, and I'm sure to all of you, that normal isn't enough. We need to seize this opportunity to arrive at a new destination, and it is by harnessing our collective creativity, courage, and imagination that we will get there. And most importantly, we have been reminded that our communities and our people are resilient, generous, thoughtful, and kind. So what I am saying is this: yes, let's talk about post-COVID recovery, but let's bypass normal and let's have serious conversations about a better, more creative life in which everyone can flourish and be well. For this to happen and to have impact, we should build on what we already have. We have models of social engagement. We have local authorities that are hugely skilled as social and cultural enablers. We have parliamentary structures, and we have a proven model of citizens' assemblies. We also have Creative Ireland, Healthy Ireland, Global Ireland, initiatives that support well-being and global citizenship, and crucially, that are designed to work across government. And most of all, we have a society that is searching for better ways to live. So to conclude, in my view, Creative Ireland is about our fundamental well-being as a people. The basic premise is that we are all at our most human when we are being creative, and in particular, when we're being creative together. Creativity finds expression in all areas of human endeavor, from science and engineering to sport and play. But there is something different and something very special about the arts. It is unquestionable that active engagement with arts and culture nurtures creativity, empathy, and achievement in all spheres of endeavour. The Creative Ireland programme must, by definition, operate on an all-of-government basis. Its modus operandi is collaboration, agus ní neart go cur le chéile. It embraces government, academia, the arts community, the creative industries, our economy, our health and well-being, formal and non-formal education, volunteers and professionals, young and old. In the post-COVID world, the core ideas and objectives of Creative Ireland and the Creative Youth Plan will be more relevant than ever. It behoves all of us to work out how best to harness the ideas, the projects, the expertise, the collaborations, the energy and enthusiasm for change that is so evident in our society, and initiate a new, truly all-of-government creativity and well-being initiative for the next 5 years and beyond. I invite you to give us your best thinking on how that can be achieved, and I assure you that you will find in me and in this government an enthusiastic and collaborative partner. This is truly important work, and I thank you for your input into it. Gurv míle míle maith agaibh go léir.